And three, two.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Obamacare, bitch. It is officially open enrollment for Obamacare. And guess what? On the first day of enrollment alone, Obamacare had more than 200,000 people select a plan for 2018. And this surge in signups comes despite the Trump administration's cutbacks on outreach and advertising. So, if you need insurance, or even if you don't need insurance, you just want to make Donald Trump mad, then go to healthcare.gov and sign up for Obamacare. Because, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Especially if you're a senator with a proclivity for pissing off your neighbors, Obamacare might come in handy for you at this
If
time.
you if you need 5 new ribs, sign up for Obamacare.
So, as we know, Rand Paul got his ass whipped. Now,
Rand Paul got hit.
now,
Every Why do I
every
laugh
time I say it,
so
I laugh.
hard?
Oh my goodness! But I mean, we've both accepted the fact that we're going to hell, right? Okay, good.
Seriously.
So my thing about this is originally because we are figuring why do neighbors fight? Is it over money? Were you touching somebody's wife? No. These motherfuckers were fighting over lawn care. I don't even know how many leaves you have to leave on somebody's lawn for them to break 4 of your ribs. Like, or 5 of your ribs. 5 ribs worth of uncut grass. That's more than that. Somebody touched something they wasn't supposed to. And it wasn't no foliage. That's all I'm.
But here's the thing. So technically, if Rand Paul has been cutting the grass and encroaching onto his neighbor's property line, then isn't it warranted that he got his shit busted in? Is that trespassing? Like, what does he even
Well,
have legal recourse? Like, you're on his property,
well,
and not only are you on his property, you're destroying it by cutting his grass. So, I think, me personally, I think if he happened to get 5 ribs broken because of that, the game is the game.
I personally feel that if he yawns and gets 5 of his ribs broken, it's Rand Paul. He's right up there. Like he's on the stupid motherfucker list with Rick Perry. Why is Rick Perry saying that fossil fuels prevent sexual assault and he got all
Why?
the ribs? Where's Rand Paul's neighbor? Let's see
Rand,
what else we can do.
so Rand,
I'm
Rand,
certain. I'm
Rand
certain
Paul's
Rick Perry
neighbor
is
is
pissing
the
off his neighbor.
enforcer.
I know Rick Perry is pissing off his neighbors. No way is he a good neighbor.
I know he can't possibly be a good neighbor. There's no way in hell you can live next to Rick Perry and have a happy life.
Yeah, no. Rick Perry is a great,
He makes everyone miserable.
and I just hope that his neighbors. I won't say I hope. I will say I would completely understand if his neighbors were to act out in a way that may or may not encroach upon his ribs. I'd get it. No,
I wasn't even there when Rand Paul got his ass whipped, but I'm willing to go testify in court that the attack was not only warranted, it was provoked, and actually Rand Paul started it.
whatever his neighbor said, he did that shit.
Whatever he said. And it's like, what difference does it make if I'm telling the truth or not in court? Like, if the Attorney General of the United States gets to perjure himself, then, I mean, anybody can, right?
Yup.
That's basically the standard for testimony at this point because the highest official in the highest court of, like, he The head of the Department of Justice said that we could lie on the stand. So Rand Paul actually tried to run his neighbor over with the lawnmower and in turn got his ass beat.
Nothing means anything anymore.
Oh,
And that's the black ass bottom line. And Rand Paul got his ass whipped. And in a world so full of turmoil and upsetting news, didn't that just feel like a warm hug? It felt like the first sip of coffee.
I laughed so hard. I had to put my head down.
I laugh every time I think about it.
I put my head down on the desk.
I imagine his neighbor tackling him and then bouncing up, waiting for him to get up like Muhammad Ali. It's just a fantastic scene in my head every time I think about it.
But that when somebody beats you to the point where they break multiple ribs, they've warned you many times. That's like, you keep fucking with me, I'm gonna beat your ass. You keep fucking with me, I'm gonna beat your ass. Today's the day. You know how hard it is to break five of someone's ribs?
Oh no, that person came out the woods, the
Like
wish
full
motherfucker
speed,
woods.
full speed, full speed.
He ran at him
If
like that dude in Get Out with purpose,
and
vigor,
with his bare hands,
conviction.
he didn't beat him with a bat. He didn't have like
Nope.
a weapon. With his bare, he tried to beat the life out of Rand Paul. He beat the grease out of Rand Paul's hair.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
You know the only thing that's making me laugh harder than Rand Paul getting his ass beat, stomped into the ground, and dragged across his lawn in front of his family? The whole idea of heterosexual relationships.
Um, well, yeah. I mean, heterosexuality is a scam. Well,
It's a
I,
scam.
I feel like that. You know how people always say God has a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the funniest thing God ever did was make other humans attracted to men. Like, if I could turn this shit off, if I could turn this off and like have no desire for men at all, I would do it in a heartbeat. In a
It's
heartbeat.
exhausting.
Like, it's a joke.
I opted out.
It's a
I
joke and a
can't. I
scam.
can't right now. I mean, you know where I stand on it. I can't right now. But the more I
Are
thought
you gonna
about it,
be? Are you swapping to be asexual, or are you gonna become a full time lesbian like me?
I don't know if either of those are the case. All I know is that I'm just not. I haven't thought that far. I'm just not interested in any of it.
You haven't thought that far. Like, you don't know if you like women yet.
No, that ship has sailed. That's not what I'm talking about. Um, what I am saying is I don't know. I just don't know where it's going to go because I'm just not interested in dating anybody right now.
When's the last time you went on a good date?
Last year, last year.
When's the last time you had like really great sex?
Oh boy. I don't know. And it's not to
Don't
say
say
that
it.
the sex that I've had was bad, but like, you
That
know,
ain't. I'm not saying I didn't ask nothing about no bad
but
sex.
the last time I had like really, I don't know. I do not know.
Okay, I haven't been on a really, really good date. Hmm. Since August. I had a fantastic date in August, and I haven't had really great sex in a year.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
It's been a year and 2 months.
Wow.
I've had good sex.
Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, it's been good, but like great. I don't know. I don't know the list.
14 months.
I can't even answer that question. Great. Two. Lex, let me do the math. Hold on. It's been 2 years. Yeah, in 2 years at least.
So not long ago, um, I was asking women to tell me about their best and worst experiences with sex, and I was asking about, you know, faking orgasms because sometimes we'll be faking and shit
True.
because we just want it to be over. Well, I don't anymore, but I will admit that plenty of times in my life, probably up until maybe 3 years ago, I just, fake it.
And like honestly, I think some it goes, and I think people oversimplify it and say, "Oh, you need to tell people what you want," blah blah blah, and that is very true. But I think sometimes it's just a matter of moving shit along, and it's a whole like it's I don't want it to. I didn't know that this was gonna be a class. No, I'm not signing up for this. Let's just got the wrap it up box.
And then here's the thing, like oh God, I really didn't want to drag men today, but
I mean, we don't have to drag them. We can just talk very frankly.
are men um self-aware enough to know faking? That's first. And second, do they even care that you're faking? Like, is their interest in pleasing you? And third, do you benefit to even go through the motions of explaining it to them because the dick is only going to do what the dick is going to do.
I don't. I don't have an answer. I don't. I don't know. I would like to think there is some benefit of
Mm.
explaining. I would like to think, but I don't know. But you know, I ain't got no faith in these motherfuckers. So you can
Because
just
I just wonder, like, um, if someone has weak dick and they come within 5 minutes every single time, and then you tell them, and I'm not saying every time you have sex with them, I'm saying like that is their
standard.
that is their sex. That is just the way that they have sex. And you say that's too fast. Or you do it lovingly and you're like, I enjoy you, but and then you air your grievance.
Um. So, so how have I approached that? I don't think I ever. I don't know that I've ever outright said, "Hey, 120 seconds of sex is maybe not enough for me." Because like, is there a way to say that? Is there a polite way to say that? I don't think there is. But like, kind of just like holding off on certain things, especially when you know that you know you're dealing with a two hump. I don't want to say chump, but chump. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
I mean,
all the mental gymnastics you have to go through just to make sure you have good sex is kind of annoying.
I really think that the fear of weak sex is preventing us from having a whole phase.
Okay, so let's talk about that because I had a good amount of whack dick in my whole phase in my 20s.
Did you?
And keep in mind, this was right after I got divorced. So I had only been with one person. And it was,
And here,
it was okay. We'd been with each other for a while, so we kind of knew the routine, but it just, I was like, if this is what the streets are offering, this shit is awful.
okay, so here's a theory that I have now. Okay, I feel like in my 20s I had a lot of whack sex too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the only time I could say I had great sex in my 20s, but when I did, it was like when I was in a relationship with someone much older than me, or when I was dating older guys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would have good sex. But then if I try to date someone my age in my 20s, it was like mad whack. So I don't understand cougaring because right now, like I'm almost 40 and I don't see myself, like I think about the sex I had in my 20s and I'm like, well, why would I go try to have sex with a 25-year-old boy?
Well, I
But
think
it's a very popular thing for our age group
it is.
to
And
date.
I
Okay.
see women my age and younger dating men with a teen in their age, and or my age and older, like in our age group. I, I have very, very occasionally, but I have that rule where you can't be 11 years younger than me, period. Um, because that's, the halfway point. You can't be closer to my son's age than mine. Um, so I, I don't, they're energetic and they're eager, I guess. And I think also our mindset is a little different because we tend to be a little more assertive in what we want. And it's a little, I've found that younger men are a little easier to accept direction from older women. So that helps. That being said, you have to deal with 20 something year old shit. And that's a whole other thing.
I
They can be
see.
very nice, they can be very sweet, a whole lot of fun, but oof.
A whole lot of fun, but a whole lot. It's like having a puppy. I don't have
And
time
then
for
if you're
fun.
not, and then like typically if you're like us, you're typically not dating exclusively, which means they're not dating exclusively. So you got to deal with whatever weird ass little girls are, sniffing around everything they say and do. So that's also part of it. Um, yeah,
Ugh.
I don't know.
And the whole um, heterosexuality is just a scam. It seems like I don't know. Maybe I need to do some research, or maybe I don't like the guys in their 20s. I don't like guys in their 30s. Starting to not like guys in their 40s. So maybe I just need to just try guys in their 50s and 60s exclusively, or be a full time lesbian. And that is where I've landed tonight.
You want to date guys in their 50s and 60s?
I don't like them in their 20s. I don't like them in their 30s. My past few
And so
experiences with,
you just gonna chase this to the grave
I
rather
mean,
than just calling it a game?
what you want? What are my options? I'm telling you that heterosexuality is not working for me because guys of every age are trash.
Right. So the purpose of 50s and 60s, like they're still gonna be the same amount of trash. And I don't want to deal with you as trash and your balls dropping in the toilet water. Like you have to have a trade-off. I'm not ready to go for toilet water balls. I'm sorry.
Toilet water balls. Is that what you just said?
Correct. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want it.
I
Sorry.
casual I casually date a guy who is oh is 50 this week. And
Okay. Which means you forgot to tell him happy birthday.
it's I've just It didn't come yet. It's the end of the week.
Oh, okay.
So I'm glad we're having this conversation so that I can make sure that I put that on my calendar till his funky ass happy birthday.
Jesus.
Um,
Happy
yeah,
birthday, bitch.
I casually date a guy who is um 50, and his I don't think his balls dropped in the toilet.
Okay.
He looks like he's really, really young, though he's very athletic. That might be the difference.
Could be.
Because which is not common for 50 something.
Right. True. I just
But maybe I don't want to date a guy who is super fine anymore. Like I'm so all of these fine men are like they are stressed, and I know it's cliche to say that they are stressed. They're not like
but I mean like okay, but okay, so but you're bad as fuck. So you date someone who's not fine and he's, you know, feeling himself because he booked you and he's gonna act stressful and out of character too. So it's just I don't even know if it
right, but I carry a knife in my purse and sometimes a firearm, and so if he's feeling like if he's feeling like getting out of line with me, I'll just deal with
I
him
just
accordingly.
I I know that I am not I'm very giving in a relationship. I am, and that's just my natural inclination. But I don't want to be. I want to be selfish, and I know that if I'm in a relationship, I cannot do that. I will ultimately be that giving, compromising, whatever person. So I just don't date. Because I mean, to be very fair, if we're gonna spend time together, I want it to be enjoyable. I don't want it to be this acrimonious, yeah, nigga, what? Like I don't want it to be that. Um, but I just don't. When I look at the time that I've sacrificed, not furthering my career, not furthering my writing, that kind of thing, I don't want to sacrifice any more of that time for anyone. So I'm just not really interested in dating, and it's not necessarily about being asexual because I definitely enjoy sex for the most part, but I'm not I'm not really sweating anybody. I'm not pressed to be around anybody. And I just don't enjoy
So
dating as much as I used to.
so it's not that you think heterosexuality is a scam. It's that you think dating in general is just a scam. Is what you're
Oh no,
saying.
no, no. I think heterosexuality is a scam. Heterosexual dating.
Is
I think
a
heterosexuality is a scam.
is a scam. And then like men have the audacity to pretend like to sit around acting like they don't want to pay for dates and women should contribute and all of this. And it's like, fam, do you know what an honor it is that women even still deal with you and do anything with you besides use you for sperm and send you on your way?
The payment for men is we haven't killed them yet.
Oh my
That's your
God.
payment. Take it to the bank.
Like outside of procreation. Anyway, I'm not even going
Think of how many men you've dated that should by all rights be dead right now.
every last one of them. Quite a few of them are dead to me, but I think that like ones that I should have physically killed during our relationship, I can think of four of them right now.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's your payment. You're still living and breathing and fuck nigga and fuck nigga it up the United States of America. That's your payment. You
Wow.
lived to fuck nigga.
I don't know.
We ended up dragging him anyway, didn't we?
I can't figure it out.
And there are men, and let me say this too: I enjoy the company of men. Like men are fun. I like them. I enjoy them. They're fun to laugh with. They're fun to watch television with and talk about things with and shoot the shit with. I just don't want to date you.
I,
I don't want to be and let me go further. I don't want to be romantically, emotionally obligated to you.
I just want them to shut the fuck up.
And and like sometimes like I have like I'm friends with men who are interested in me romantically and I don't necessarily reciprocate and that comes with its own set of difficulties. Um it's like I don't even necessarily want to deal with that. Like I almost feel like there's a certain level where I have to be almost cold and not rude, but toe the line of rude because if I'm nice, if I'm just regular friendly Mal, it's like, oh, that's my end. No, this is me trying to be a friend and you don't know how to enjoy nice things. And also if you just want me for my pussy, you should just say that so that we can just close the door
Okay.
on this entirely.
So yep, yep. They're never gonna be. You're asking for men to be honest, so I think at this point,
I'm being ridiculous.
you're you've really crossed over into crazy town.
But there
So
are things that I enjoy about men. I love going to baseball games with them. Men are so fun at baseball games. They really are.
girl, I mean,
Like I
I
like
guess.
dudes. I really like dudes. I just don't want to date you. And it's not even a matter
I
of
mean,
choosing lesbianism. Like that's not even necessarily the thing. I just I just don't have the
I
bandwidth to
mean,
date men right now.
I
And maybe
get.
never. I don't know.
Well, the thing is that I'm still going to date them, but just being honest and forward about the fact that I really don't have faith in them, and my expectations are low.
Yeah.
So one false move,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know,
I don't like if you like if the aim is to build a relationship with me, don't do that to me or yourself. I would much like if you like me at all, please don't broach that conversation.
so that's that.
It sounds so terrible. And I think like I feel it the funny thing is like men will hear that and be like, well, bitch, who wants you? If the answer is nobody, good. That's not the case. But if the answer was nobody, even better for me because I don't like shooting people down. Like I don't that's not fun for me. I really just enjoy having a good time and I don't like uncomfortable conversations like that. Because regardless of how nice you are, nobody wants to be let down, nobody wants to be rejected. So I don't get it's not like I get joy out of doing that, but I'm also not like I've passed the point where I'm going to try something out because somebody is nice when I know that's not what I want.
That's fair.
And it's not fair to it's it's fair to them too because you need to be finding somebody who is interested in that type of thing. Like on Twitter just the other day, some woman was talking about how all she needs is to sit in a car and split French fries. Go find her. She's gonna
Okay,
be great for you.
no, you have to chill out.
Fine, 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 fine.
Yeah, I know. It just feels like a scam. It feels like there's no way to win. God, I feel very pessimistic,
Yeah,
but I'm also being realistic because I mean, quite frankly, I have to draw conclusions based on my experiences and Heterosexuality is just not, it's a scam.
I think we're just in a
It's
different
a Ponzi scheme.
it is. And we're in a different, like socially, we're in a different we have a different set of needs. You know, I mean, once upon a time, it was very necessary for us to, at the very least, maintain a heterosexual relationship for almost the purpose of survival, especially with us with women as kids. You know, you need a husband to help you with these babies and get this money and bring in the crops or whatever the hell. But that's not where we are anymore. So I think part of it is being more comfortable with ourselves as women. I think women are going through this kind of realization that we've backburnered ourselves a lot, and we need to stop doing that. And I think a lot of it is less about men and what they are and what they aren't, and more about us putting ourselves in in our proper place in our own lives. Am I making sense? You know, like
Hmm.
it's not it's I mean, we could talk about men and call them trash
They
and do
are.
all that all day, but it's also a matter of we've or part of it, because there are social things where that's done for us. But part of it is also us looking at ourselves, the things that we do, the sacrifices we make, and saying, okay, this is enough, and I'm not going to do that anymore. And sticking to that, because honestly, some of the things where we're upset, I know I can say that. I'm sure like we've all had that person that we kept letting back in and we knew we shouldn't have. And those are things that we have to own as well. Opportunities that maybe
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, you keep letting someone back in, but I think a lot of that comes from when you let somebody back in over and over, you do open yourself up to be hurt deeper and deeper. I get it. But a
mhm.
lot of it comes from being fully aware that they're all trash anyways,
Yeah. But
and dealing with the trash that you already have
mhm.
instead of having the
But did
having to go and dig and find new trash. Like, basically, it's like I feel like the dating pool is a landfill, and you're looking for the best piece of garbage or the freshest bag of trash or the meat that doesn't quite smell like hot open ass, or it's like, my nigga, it's a landfill.
well, the other thing that we can't ignore as well is that there are safety concerns that come with dating, right?
Oh,
So
most definitely.
you know, our sexual health, our physical health, our emotional health when there are people who are sociopathically manipulative. So those are things that we have to look at. And when we're dealing with somebody who's not necessarily that, or at least not an extreme version of that beyond what we can manage, that's another reason that we sometimes hold on to those things, hold on to those people. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing that I think we have to be okay with, and I guess it sounds cliche, but you have to be okay with being alone. Or at least and I mean being alone in the sense of not dating anyone. Because in the end, I'm not currently dating anyone, but I'm also not alone.
Right.
I have an active social life. I have an active work life. Um, I have projects I write. So that's the other thing that we have to look at. And I think part of that is just realizing as women culturally realizing that we have so much more to offer, so much more to speak for us that goes beyond what nigga is choosing us
Yeah, that's true.
or who's texting us. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is a refreshing ass life to not be bummed because somebody ain't called me or somebody ain't texted me or didn't respond to X, Y, or Z.
Oh.
All of my
Yeah.
texts, all of my emails, all of my calls are about money. So all them bitches getting returned on the regular.
Yeah. I mean,
And so it's, I mean, it's just
you get you.
it's a mental shift for me at least. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
everybody is built to do what I do because you don't have to, some people detach differently. I don't detach that way. So that
That's
being the
what
case,
I was just about to say. You don't you are fully checked in until
mhm,
someone makes you check out, like their
yep,
behavior or something makes you check out, and I am fully checked out until their behavior makes me check in.
yeah.
Like, because I just could give a hot buttery fuck about these niggas and these texts, and like I don't care until someone does something that grabs my attention in some way, you know, to make me feel compelled to, I don't know, tune in. Then I guess I tune them all out. God, that's awful. Am I saying that? I'm gonna have to edit that out.
I mean, we are. We are who we are, and that's okay.
I am awful. That's a there's a lot, you know. I guess I'm cold, or I'm not necessarily cold because I am warm and kind to people, but just because I'm warm and kind doesn't mean I let people in. I think my heart is very guarded.
I am very warm. I am very
Oh God, yeah,
open in my own
you're
way.
open. Yeah.
I'm very open in my own way. Like it does, believe it or not, it does take a certain time to actually get in. Um, but I am a very open person. Like if I'm interested in you and I think you're trying to get to know me, you're doing the right things, then I'm not going to be needlessly, I am going to be friendly. I am going to be warm. I'm a very enjoyable person to date. That being said, I have the problem that a lot of women have, and it's that we overinvest because we're so used to men falling short. When someone gets close to the mark, some of us get a little too excited. And that's part of my issue. And so that's when I start making choices that aren't good. So until I can trust my choosing ability, I'm choosing me because I know I'm not going to let me down.
And be also because you know heterosexuality is a fucking scam.
And because I know it's a scam.
So
It's
don't
so much
get
of a
yourself
scam. Like
caught up in the scam.
it's a centuries long scam because they went all the way back to the Bible and was like, if you don't have sex with us, then God gonna hate you. And that's like the scammiest of all scams because they
Oh,
knew if we had options, we would choose something else.
men, they know they have no likability or credibility, so they had to try to indoctrinate generations and generations of women with this. Girl, let's end this because I'm about to get mad. I'm about to send out a mass cuss out text.
And it's just a matter of finding where you're most healthy. And that's where I am. I don't think that I know for a fact that while I have not completely given up on love, that's not what I'm pursuing right now. But I know I am pursuing an overall healthy life. I'm pursuing an overall joy. And just like we talk about manifesting money, we talk about manifesting opportunities, we talk
We
about
did a prayer circle to manifest
listen. And
at Corey's house.
how has our life been since then? Like, think of all the things that have happened to us just in the last, what was that?
It was a month ago.
A month ago. Think of the things that have happened just in the last month.
So wait, for everybody that doesn't know, so when we went to New York to Bourbon Law, we all hung out at our dear friend Corey's house, Jerry Bradshaw. There were, what was it, 6 or 7 of us. It was me and Mel and Corey and Jeannie and Don and Hassan and Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
7 of us. And we all did a prayer circle to manifest nothing but good things and good people in our lives. And since then, we have had good things and good people appear nonstop. So I just want to say thank you to all of y'all, to that group, because that was a powerful moment. We started off joking,
But it
but
got
it was a
real, and the things we spoke into our lives. And then think of, the things that when I think of the things that I've been saying that I wanted, what I've wanted to happen, the direction I wanted my career to take, all of that, all of those things are manifesting now. And that is, I don't even want to say crazy because it's expected.
Mhm.
Because it's not just saying the words. Words are powerful, and that is part of it. But also, um, having your steps ordered and following those steps that are ordered for you. It's just an amazing. It's been an amazing month.
It really has, and it felt like it just set the stage. So I'm grateful for
It's
that.
hard to believe until you just said it. It's hard to believe that it's only been a month.
I know, I know.
And that's part of it. And so when we talk about all those things that we've manifested, all that goodness that we've manifested, it also, manifesting healthy relationships is part and parcel with that. And that includes, I still will eventually date men. So, you know, I expect that to be blessed as well. It's just
Yeah,
not where my focus
unless
is
they're
right now.
unless they're 55 or older, or
I'm not
unless
dating no
it's
55-year-old man, bro. Like, I'm not doing it.
unless it's
Have it.
the 55 or studs. If he don't get his AARP magazine every month, he ain't for me.
My kids are too old for me to be stud bait now. Let me tell you, when my kids
This
were
is the
like,
perfect time.
no,
Your kids
no,
about to be
no,
out the
no,
house.
no, no, girl. When your kids, especially like when you have more than one, when your kids are like 9 and 11, that kind of deal, that's when you are like prime stud bait. I have done the research. Prime stud bait.
Well, I am prime stud eight. Judah is 8. And if a man is not 55, and if it's not stud, then I don't know. Now, how about that?
It's like all you have to do is whisper. If you have a 9-year-old, you just have to whisper in a dark corner that your child support is late, and them studs gonna jump out the rafters like Chiquita and Belly.
But studs don't like me.
Studs don't like you.
Mm-mm.
Why? Because you're tall.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I hadn't asked one why,
I
but I
didn't.
will.
I'm asking because I didn't know this was a thing. I had no idea studs didn't like you.
Yeah, no. The lipstick lesbians love me. They want to share makeup and shit, I guess. I don't know.
Girl, I booked some. I booked some, but no, I was stud bait, especially like when my kids were small too. When I was at UNO, oh my god,
Yeah, when I was younger, studs used to, but now that I'm older, they're just not interested. I mean, and maybe I just am not paying attention to them,
maybe
or
that's
had
it.
not been paying attention to them. But guess what? Effective immediately, I am.
You better let them know you're open for business.
There you go. This this
Go to
this
Home Depot this
episode,
Saturday and look confused.
I'm not going
Report
to
your
Home
findings.
Depot. I'm going to have a manicure. I'm not going to Home Depot.
You're going to
I'm
what?
gonna. I'm. I said I'm gonna go have a manicure. I'm not going to Home Depot. I almost my heart jumped a little bit just hearing you say go to Home Depot. And
You
then what? Do I have to get out the car when I go?
okay? So you're not listening, and I can't help you if you don't allow me to. I said
Oh,
go to Home Depot and look confused. You don't have
mm-mm.
to pick up anything. You don't have to do anything. You really just have to walk inside and let Judah run around. Get you
Mm.
a Starbucks, go in Home Depot with your little leggings and your chucks and walk around. Report your findings. That's your assignment.
Okay. The
It's
last time I did, wait a minute, I did go in Home Depot, and when I came out of Home Depot, I had an applicant. I'm trying to think, was that? Yeah, that was, no, it was Lowe's. Same thing though, right?
no, it's not the same thing. Go to, I don't understand why you're being so difficult about this. Go to Home Depot, report your findings.
I'm gonna go. Next week, I'm gonna have an update for y'all about how I went to Home Depot and some Duck Dynasty white boy. Okay. All right, that's enough. Heterosexuality is a scam. Now look, I gotta be um go as bait to Home Depot. This is all it's just a big Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But it's, there's hope, and it's just I think we're at a point in time in our lives where we're kind of in
No, Mel, there's no hope.
there's no hope. All
Sorry.
hope is lost.
Sorry.
That's not
All
true.
right.
There's hope. It's just that right now we're in, like, sometimes you're in the sowing phase and sometimes you're in the reaping phase. And right now
Mm-hmm.
we're in our sowing season, and that's okay. And we could
Mm-hmm.
call this bullshit for what it is. You can do that in your sowing season and recognize, just like in your sowing season, you got to get the bugs out. You got to spray your pesticides and do whatever you need to do to make sure that rot doesn't get into your crops. That being said, reaping season is going to come too because we're manifesting too much good. So I'm hopeful. I'm never going to be hopeless. I'm just not interested right now.
Fair enough. Well, thank you guys for listening to us because we're just sitting here talking shit. And if you agree that heterosexuality is a scam, you can please tweet me. It's I'm just the sage. Or you can
And tell
tweet
us how
us.
you're working the scam. Let us know how you're making the scam work for you.
And if you go into Home Depot, ladies, if you are going to Home Depot to find studs and men over 50, please let me know.
And
Um,
studs, let us know what CJ needs to do to lay down some bait. When you listen to this, it'll be Friday, so she'll have 24 hours to prepare for her Saturday Home Depot stud search.
God bless y'all.
We're going to get you a stud for Christmas.
Pray for Mel, you guys. This motherfucker is crazy.
I love you, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And we will be back next week. A couple of things. It's almost Melly Gras. My wish list is going to be in the show notes. The uh, my Melly Gras wish list is going to an amazing organization, Sisters Pittsburgh, and its founder Ciora Thomas, an amazing woman, an amazing organization providing housing and advocacy for trans women of color. Um, And don't forget also to sign up for updates at Universal FanCon because I am one of an awesome team of people who's working really hard to make this a success. And I want to see you there in Baltimore next year, April 27th to the 29th. And that's it. We love you guys. Have a fantastic weekend.